If you're tired of feeling like you're the one who's always chasing for clients, I'm going to share with you a way of completely reversing that. Based on bringing in more than 9,000 paying clients, I'm going to show you how to switch things around so that you go from the one doing the hunting to the one being hunted by your clients. So what I'm about to share with you, it's so powerful that I accidentally used it to close 75% of sales without asking for a single sale. This is ridiculous, right? It uses an ethical influence technique from Benjamin Franklin, and once you know it, you will never offer to buy someone dinner ever again.
The Email Marketing Show.
Welcome back to the show. If you are a returning viewer or listener, hello, it's really lovely to see you. I'm Kennedy. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button because every single week I'm releasing more and more videos like this. And what's crazy to me is that less than half of you who tune into the videos are actually subscribed to the channel, which means you're missing out on the future videos and the past videos and all the other videos that I'm producing, which will really help you to grow your online sales, to grow your coaching business and make more sales of your course and your membership. And that's a crying shame. So hit the subscribe button, and that also lets me know that you're enjoying this content, and I'll keep making more and more of it for you. If you're into psychology, which is a bit what this sort of episode is about, then there are 3 psychological principles that I actually applied to my email marketing that took one of my offers from making me $27,000 in sales to over $500,000 in sales, just by applying these 3 psychological principles to the same offer, to those emails. And I put it all together in a new program of mine called Email Marketing Sorted. And for tuning in to the show, you can get the whole thing for free as my gift. If you want to go deeper on this stuff, just go to emailmarketingsorted.com and it is yours for free. So here's how things work with any relationship that we've got, right? You could either be the hunter, you're the one putting in all of the effort, you're chasing, you're going across the plains of the savannah, right? And you're putting all that in to find the prospective client. Then you're chasing them down and then you're trying to convince them to actually work with you. Or you can be the hunted, where your clients are chasing you and you're like sat there having a lovely cup of tea, chilling out, and people are knocking down your door saying, "Can I work with you? Please, can I buy from you?" And I know which one of those 2 things I enjoy doing more. I don't really like going out there and pushing for work. So this principle of persuasion really became famous by Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, that guy, the guy, right? So what happened? Before I actually tell you how to apply it, I'm going to give you all the pieces to it, right? He had this enemy. And what he decided to do is rather than try and challenge the enemy and try and convince them, he contacted them and said, "Hey, could I borrow a book from your library?" And he asked to borrow a book from their library. And this rival of Franklin's said, "Yeah, okay." And then after a few days or weeks or something, Franklin returns the book and includes a thank you note. And very quickly, this rival started to like and actually became friends with Franklin. Now, before I get into how you apply that and what's really going on there that you can go and use to get clients to chase you, you've also experienced this scenario too. If you've ever bought somebody else dinner, right? Do you think that they like you more because you bought them dinner? No. The studies show that because you bought them dinner, you like them more. Why? Think about what happens in our brains. If we do something like that, we loan someone a book or we buy them dinner, that tells our brain, I must like them. I must trust them. So the person who buys dinner or does the favor is the one who ends up liking the other person more, and they're the one doing the chasing. So Franklin's enemy does the favor by loaning him the book. Now he likes Franklin. Your friend buys you dinner, they like you more. You're not begging, they are literally choosing you. That's what's going on, right? So what we want to do, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this and get really practical and exactly how I do this in our business, is we're going to get people to do a small favor for us. I'm going to tell you about the exact campaign that I used by accident. I was actually doing something else, and it turned out that I converted 75% of the people without me asking any of them to buy. In fact, I was actually telling them they shouldn't buy, right? And it's not reverse psychology. It's this idea that when someone does you a favor, they like you more. So there's a bunch of steps. There's actually 8 steps, and then I'm also going to give you an exact email that you're going to use as well. I'm going to bring it up on screen. So let's get into it. Let me bring up the old trusty iPad and shuffle things around here. So the very first thing you're going to do to make this work is you are going to go and find some engaged people from your audience, from your email list. The more engaged they are with a particular offer, the better. So what I did is I went and found a bunch of people who had been receiving my emails about my particular offer, which was my automated email engine program. And I found all the people who've been clicking on the links and going and checking out that landing page and the sales page, and I found, but hadn't bought. So I literally went, you go into your CRM, you find all the people who've clicked to look at your sales page, but haven't bought, right? That's the first thing. They are engaged. They are active. They're alive. That's the first thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to send those people an email. And I'm going to actually bring the email up for you to have a look at in a second, so you actually go use this. You're going to email them, and you ask them if they're willing to participate in a really short 20-minute call with you to help you out. That's you asking them for the favor, right? You're starting to put this together, right? And you're going to tell them explicitly, you must be very clear, this is not a sales call. I'll show you the exact email and how we do that in a second, right? So we're going to email them. What's going to now happen is that some of them are going to reply yes. And you'll be amazed, if you do this with your most engaged people, what high percentage of people say yes to this. Notice, in the email, when you see it in a second, you'll see, you don't just slap your calendar link in that email and say, hey, if you're willing to do it, click here and do it. We actually just say, are you willing to do it? We're asking for a small amount of commitment. Are you willing to do it? They reply with yes. You go back and say, awesome, here's my calendar. Okay? So they say yes, and you give them your calendar link. Next, so you've sent that out, they've booked the link. They've booked the call with you. Now, on the call itself, you are going to remind them at the very beginning, hey, just so you know, I'm really grateful. I'm so pleased that you would do me this favor. And I just want you to know there's nothing for sale on this. Please don't buy anything. It'll be really awkward if you do. This is really, really to help me out. So you want to be very clear at the beginning of the call, because they've still got some trepidation. Like, is this going to be where you're going to just do a little sort of U-turn on me and end up selling to me? Remind them, put them at ease at the beginning. It's not a sales call. Number 5, like I said, there's 8 points to this, right? Number 5. Number 5 is that you're going to tell them, hey, I asked you on the call because you look like the perfect fit for my program, but you haven't enrolled in my program. So I would love if you would just share with me what's going on for you, why you actually haven't enrolled in the program, right? So ask, why not? Why have they not joined the program? Because you've already disarmed them by saying there's nothing for sale here, that literally doing you a favor, they're going to be really open and honest. And what happens pretty much every single time is they're going to say to you, do you know what it is? I don't really know why I've not joined the program. I'm not really sure. Because as you say, like, it's perfect, right? So they're now going to start emoting with you. They're going to start really digging into, why haven't I? And what happens in that moment is they actually start to share with you their objections, and then they handle their own objection. It's really, really amazing, okay? The 6th thing that you then do is you just literally let them talk. Let them talk. Don't disagree with anything. Say, okay, tell me a bit more about that. And what would make you not feel that? Ask them to overcome their objections. Number 7 of 8 is going to be you end the call and you thank them. Number 8 is where a few hours later, you send a thank you email that says, hey, I really appreciate it. But also in your signature of the email, there just happens to be a link where they can actually enroll in the program. It's not an offer. It's almost like it's always there in the bottom of your emails. And for me, actually, that link was always there. It was part of my signature block in the bottom of my emails. And that's how they started enrolling. And it worked incredibly well. I'm going to show you the actual email, because if you send an email and people don't reply to say they want the book on this call, then the whole thing is completely scuppered. It doesn't work at all. So we're going to get into that. But do you see how powerful this is? They're going to come on this call. They let their guard down. They do you a favor by showing up. They do you another favor by being open and honest. They then overcome their own objections. You don't try and sell to them. They leave. You thank them. And they enroll. The first time I did this, we had a 100% conversion rate, right? It was amazing. And then I've done it since it's been about 75%. It's incredible. So what does this email look like? Well, let's go through the actual email itself. So first thing is the subject line is huge favor. What I like to do, and I also do it in the first line here. I've just completely written through that. That was ridiculous. There we go. Is huge favor. Can I ask you a huge favor? This is actually not a big deal, not a big favor. But when you say, can I ask you a huge favor, people's expectations are like, oh, how big a favor is this going to be? So when your favor is kind of easier and lower barrier, then they're like, yeah, cool, that's no problem. Huge favor. All right. And then, can I ask you a huge favor? Okay, we're still elevating that. Business owner to business owner. Now, of course, I'm going to say that because I'm dealing with other businesses. But if you teach, pet grooming or something like that, hey, dog owner to dog owner, or fitness enthusiast to fitness enthusiast, or whatever, right? So you're going to position yourselves sort of aligned in some way, or have some commonality. I wonder if you might be able to find 20 minutes. Everybody can find 20 minutes. Like we're saying, this is nothing. Can you find 20 minutes to have a call with me next week? We're being specific about when. If you say, can you find 20 minutes to have a call with me? It's like, oh, it's not very concrete, not very quantifiable. Next week says, do you know what it is? In the whole of next week, could I find 20 minutes to do someone a favor? We can all do that. We can all do that. And we all do that every week, right? And then I say, it's not a sales call. Oh, what is it then? In fact, you cannot buy anything on it. I won't even let you if you try. Lol. So I'm really overcoming this idea of, are you just trying to hoodwink me onto a sales call and do like a bait and switch when we get on there? And then tell them the reason, because people don't know why. Then they're gonna be like, shall I do this? So if you give somebody a reason why, they're way more likely to do it. It's another psychological principle. So I'm doing some research on my audience, and I've handpicked a handful of you to reach out to for a quick conversation. So quick. I've handpicked a little bit of ego bait there, and I've to reach out to, so that sounds personal, about your business to help me serve you better. I'm appealing to their ego and self-interest. Would you be up for a call next week? Again, reiterating the very definite nature of this. I've made decisions. I'm asking you to make a decision. I'm being very, very clear about this. This is the email we're going to send out, and we're going to get a ton of replies to, because we're being very certain and very clear with the person. Now, you can go and do this yourself, right? You can actually do these calls yourself and get on the call and you're going to feel like a celebrity. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm speaking to you. It's a lovely feeling for you. Believe me, when I've done these, it works really well. Or you can have somebody else do it, right? You can have, as long as the email comes from somebody else, they're not expecting you, so they don't get let down when they get on the call, and have somebody else do it. The great news is the person who does it doesn't need to be a salesperson. If you've got a coach who helps you, they could do it. If you've got an assistant who helps you, they could do it. If you've got a friend you want to give some hours work and wants to help you out, they could do it, because it's not a sales process. They don't need any sales training whatsoever. Of course, to do this, you do need to have some people on your email list, and list building can be pretty difficult for coaches if they're still doing it the same way. So if you're going to watch this video next, I'm going to show you how to make list building specifically for coaches and course creators way easier when you follow this strategy. See you on that one.